Thank you. The biggest living being measures 8.4 square kilometers, 3 times the size of Central Park, and you'll hardly ever see it. It is not a blue whale, it is a fungus living entirely underground in a forest in Oregon, USA. It's hard to imagine how big a role fungi play in our everyday life, but you just have to walk into a supermarket. Bread, cheese, wine, beer, and our favorite Vegemite Marmite, washing detergents, sodas, soy sauce, chocolate, coffee, tea, pickles, and even Lego blocks all contain or are derived from some form of fungi. Since 2010, more than a quarter of Nobel Prizes in physiology and medicine were awarded for work based on yeast, which is a fungus. They've transformed Western medicine thanks to penicillin, antibiotics, immunosuppressants, which make organ transplantation possible, vaccines, and many more. And then there's psilocybin, commonly found in magic mushrooms, which when properly administered has been proven to be remarkably effective in helping people with end-of-life anxiety, addictions such as smoking and drinking, and treatment-resistant depression. Fungi can also be found as an infection under your toe. Fungi are more closely related to animals than they are to plants. Fungi appeared on land more than 1 billion years ago, 600 million years before plants ever evolved. As one of the oldest living organisms on Earth, fungi have had the time to develop one of the most efficient survival techniques. Mushrooms are just the fruiting body of the fungus, like the apple of a tree. Look under any log lying on the ground, and you might see a cobweb-like structure. This is mycelium, the tree of the fungus. A single cubic inch of healthy topsoil contains enough fungal cells to stretch more than 13 kilometers if placed end to end, from green school to Umalas. Mycelium is everywhere, like an underground network, decomposing and recycling plant and other debris into rich soil while aerating it and holding the soil together. If it wasn't, we would be under massive piles of debris, rotten waste, animal carcasses, and all other types of waste from the beginning of time. Fungi create a cooperative relationship that benefits both the fungi and the plant, by which the plant receives nutrients from the fungi, and in turn gives the fungi access to food and sugars. About 90% of living plant species have this relationship. A forest is a far more complex, sociable, and intelligent thing than we knew, and it is fungi that organizes this society. Through fungi, a dying tree might divest its resources to the benefit of the community, or a tree that is under shade might receive resources from its strongest neighbors. This network also helps trees communicate and send one another warnings if one tree is being attacked by an infection or a creature. This underground network, enabled by mycelium, is also known as the World Wide Web, a natural form of the World Wide Web. Adapting to Earth with humans, fungi have developed ways to clean up our messes. This is known as microremediation. The enzymes that are released by mycelium to break down components in wood can also break down a wide range of toxins, which the fungi then use as nutrients. Scientists have started to target these abilities towards dangerous pollutants ranging from Agent Orange to arsenic in water and in soil. Experiments after an oil spill showed that mycelia could eat all of the petroleum in soil and still produce a ton of big mushrooms. Fungi might even be the key to fight the war against plastic. A fungus found living in a rubbish dump in Pakistan was found to be breaking down plastic in a matter of 2 weeks to 2 months, while it takes plastic many decades to biodegrade. They can also become plastic. Companies around the world are starting to use fungi to build 100% biodegradable, strong, sustainable materials, including packaging like styrofoam, lamps, handbags, leather products, textiles, building bricks, and even footwear. Wanting to implement methods like these, I learned that you can put mushrooms in water. Microfiltration is the use of fungi to clean waterways. It is a form of bioremediation, using the microscopic filaments of mycelium as a type of net or membrane that can catch silt, pollutants, or microorganisms, and in some cases, digest them. Research approved by the USA's EPA showed that an in-lab test using oyster mushroom mycelia could remove 100% of the E. coli in water. E. coli is a species of bacteria that comes from feces, and if your food is contaminated, you'll get quite sick from vomiting and diarrhea. Outside the lab, you can create microfilters with straw or burlap sacks that contain fungal mycelium. Trying to replicate nature's way of cleaning the environment, this method is cheap and completely sustainable. In Bali, we are surrounded by water, and soon enough, I came to the decision that I wanted to experiment with this method in Bali's Subic. A UNESCO World Heritage practice, the Subic irrigation system makes Bali Bali. It has enabled the Balinese to become the most productive rice growers in all of Indonesia, and it ensures water goes all the way from the top of the mountains to the smallest fields at the edge of the island, reaching everybody in between. The Subic system could therefore be a perfect place to have microfilters. If you are able to clean key points in the distribution of the Subic, it can have a big ripple effect along the whole system. Oyster mushrooms in Bahasa Indonesia, jamur tiram, are a great option for remediation purposes. They are strong, can grow in toxic sites, and can fight off other fungi or infections. And they're also, interestingly, carnivorous. They can digest chemicals from the main components in petroleum and diesel to sarin gas, consume heavy metals such as cadmium and mercury, and eat dangerous bacteria. They grow easily in Bali, produced and distributed by local farms such as Oka Jamur Bali. With the help of Pakbong, a Balinese friend and neighbor of ours, we created a side channel in the Subic next to his house in a way that wouldn't affect the rest of the Subic. This Subic water had high levels of E. coli, so it was perfect for my experiments. I grew oyster mushroom mycelia, bought from Oka Jamur Bali in burlap sacks, and conducted 2 experiments, placing 2 piles of burlap sacks on the small Subic channel so that they would filter the water running through them. For each of the experiments, we tested water before it went through the burlap sacks, after it filtered past the first pile, and then after the second one. We did this after 1 hour of installation, 24 hours, 48 hours, and 72 hours. We did this because we wanted to know how efficient 1 microfilter was compared to 2, and how long the filters needed to do their work. With the help of Ibu Arni, the water samples were sent to a university in Denpasar, and soon enough, the results had come back. In experiment 1, there was an 80% drop of E. coli after 24 hours, and an 100% drop of E. coli after 48 hours. In experiment In experiment number 2, there was a 66% removal at the 24-hour mark, and but no reduction of E. coli after 48 hours. The experiment was hard to control due to water levels rising and disrupting the filters. But the point is that we were able to lower the amount of E. coli by a lot, and even completely eliminate it, through simple technology that we have adapted from the world around us. In the hope that someone can take this idea and further develop it to find the most adequate and efficient form of microfiltration for the Subic Bali, we are producing a video showing the whole process both in Bahasa Indonesia and in English. I believe that this could spark new ideas and help clean Bali's waterways and polluted landscapes. Fungi are probably the most underappreciated form of life on Earth. Scientists estimate that there are 3.3 million different species of fungi, only 3% of which are currently identified. And look at what that 3% has started to give us. I want to thank my parents, mentors, friends, especially Pak Bong, Pa Oka, and Ibu Arni. Also, thanks to the Project Dub Cocoa Farm, Indo Fungi, and Oka Jemur Bali. I could not have done this without any of you.